Hello, and welcome to Enlightened Empaths, your community for the spiritually awakened, where we discuss, explore, and connect with fellow empaths, healers, intuitives, and seekers. Hello, empaths. We hope you're having a great start to your week. Well, it is definitely Mercury retrograde because, Denise, you and I had talked about doing a show about preparing and getting ready for the holiday season, and we never really talked about it any more than that. So we came up with two completely different show notes. So this will kind of be a little mishmash of different things that we hope will inspire you and give you some food for thought as you are maybe baking for the holidays or writing your letter to Santa. Do you want to start off with some of your notes?
I will. And I think it all ties in together. I really do. We always try to be very inclusive with what we share. We don't want to make it one denomination or religion or belief system. And that's kind of where I was led with things. And what popped into my head was one of the things that unites all people is all the major religions have some version of the golden rule. And it's based on the ethic of reciprocity, which is, it's consistent, it's prevalent, it's that universal ethical principle that is about doing the right thing, treating each other with respect and dignity. And it crosses across so many traditions and philosophies that it really does unite us with this moral connection. Of course, I go rabbit hole with stuff. And I was thinking, if we could focus on what brings us together, because I'm kind of hell-bent on we're coming together in unity, whether we like it or not, it is that's something that so many wars and unrest and things are based on religious beliefs, but they're all saying the same damn thing. Maybe that's blasphemous to say damn in reference to religion.
No, because you have a right to feel frustrated about that. I mean, there's a lot of chaos going on in the world right now, and yet we all know what matters and what's important. And it does come back to the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And why can't we remember that? Why can't we behave, boys and girls?
But I mean, you can do a Google and there's the Christianity or in the Baha'i faith, the thing is, lay not on any soul a load that you would not wish to be laid upon you, and desire not for anyone the things you would not desire for yourself. It's saying the same thing. It's like, how do you want to be treated? We all want to be treated with kindness and respect and dignity. We want to be valued. And, in Buddhism, treat not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. You know how much I love all the stuff of what goes back to something that we all have a commonality with. I really think this is the same thing. It's one of the reasons I love comparative religions.
Yeah, me too, because they're all trying to give us the same message of just focusing on kindness and treating others with love and respect. But it starts with ourselves. We have to treat ourselves with love and respect. And I really do believe that everything that is around us is an echo of our interior world.
It is, and that's the season. This is what this season that we're in is. If we could find a way to continue this past this little window of time in the year, especially with some choices people may be making in our personal lives, or there's a lot going on globally with politics and governments, and that's not the focus of this show. But the more we can focus on the things that bring us together and the things that make us exactly the same, I love that. I really, and I know it sounds a little Pollyanna, but I'm okay with that.
No, I don't think it does at all. I think it's absolutely perfect and beautiful and a great reminder. We are all connected and we are all one.
Well, and it's just so simple. It really is that simple. And little kids know this. And I was speaking with someone yesterday, and they have this incredible project that they're doing. And it reminded me of, I used to teach at a preschool in Oregon, long, long time ago. And it was half identified kids and half not. So it was 3 to 5 year olds, and half of the kids in the group had an IEP and they had different identifying circumstances. Those kids didn't care. They couldn't have cared less. They cared, "What's for snack? Will you be my friend? Can we play together?" They get it. We just have to pay attention to the little people because they know.
They really do. Why do you think we lose sight of that?
Um, I think that it's conditioning. I think it's passed down with, I mean, think about our grandparents and how their worlds weren't as interconnected. So if there was someone different or there was someone from a different faith or a different background, they might not have understood them. Unless you grew up in an area where it was truly a variety of people. But in a lot of rural places, it was the same families. And even now, if you go to rural parts of the world or rural parts of this country, you have the old family names. Oh, there's someone that lives a couple towns away that his family has lived on that land since the Revolutionary War tracts were given out. No one else has ever lived on that land. That's rooted.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's always been passed down, passed down, passed down. And this person hasn't traveled extensively, hasn't, and this is not a negative. This is just making a comparison of, that's one of the reasons I was so hell bent on making sure my sons had exposure to a lot of different people and smells and cultures and travel when they were younger so that they would have an understanding. And that's exactly what we're talking about, is just understanding the differences, but celebrating the unity that we all have as human beings.
And respecting the differences.
Right.
That's something I just feel is so, so important. We have to really respect where everyone is on their path and let them be where they are on their path and focus on our own golden rule for ourselves.
Right. Because
Only
it's,
then can you share it.
yes. And it's just, I love, love, love anything that is giving the same message from so many different directions. And when you read some of these, so in Islam, not one of you truly believes you until you wish for others what you wish for yourself. And that's from, the prophet of Muhammad. There's so much in judgment about Islam, about the faith, and this is not a bash, but you can pick any one of these and there's a fear-based reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's in your heart. Don't you really think that most people do want to live in a kinder, gentler world?
Yes, of course. I do
And
think there gotta be some people who kind of enjoy being negative and lashing out, but being inside that head and their interior world must be so awful. But I think 99.9% of people want everything that you were just talking about, peace and unity and kindness.
the one that really got me was the Unitarianism, and a lot of people that choose to leave a traditional religion may go with Unitarian sect. And it just says, we affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part.
Oh, I
That
like that.
Yeah. So it's not to say one is better or worse, but I think for me during this holiday season, I just would love to see if we could keep the kindness going. Maybe that should be our goal for 2025, is how do we extend this holiday season of wanting better for each other?
Yeah, exactly.
So
What are some ways that you think you can do that, or we could all do that?
for me, not falling into comparison and judgy pie,
Yeah.
not being, this is so random, but it's kind of connected. There was something that came across media, and it was a woman who, she's very opinionated, but she was playing the lyrics of an old Christmas carol. And it was one of the traditional ones, "I'll be home for Christmas." But the words had been changed. And it was, if the song of "Only in My Dreams,"
Mhm.
but they had dubbed in with AI a different word. And the woman was incensed, and she said, "Why are we trying to convince people on a mass level that they don't remember? They've sung that song hundreds and hundreds of times. They've heard it thousands of times. what's the point in trying to convince people that they're not remembering the right thing? All the energy that we put into trying to deceive each other or get one over on somebody or get the bigger this or that, I think we just need to rein that shit in.
I agree with you.
That's not really great for Judgy Pie because that was pretty damn Judgy Pie. But anyway, so jump in the fence too. Let's go into your stuff, which is a totally different thing, but I think it all connects.
Well, I hope so. I just had created some little notes on ways to focus. Okay, all right, wait, Denise. Mine sound a little selfish now compared to your beautiful.
No, because I think it's both. I think it's we're blending the messages.
Okay. Well, I saw this really cool exercise or ritual on TikTok. So again, not going as deep and spiritual as you. It was posted by someone called Vanessa the Wonder Witch. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because I thought it was a really neat idea. It's called the 12 Magical Nights. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay, so in your journal, you write down 13 wishes or goals for 2025. And she recommends doing this around the winter solstice, but I don't think that necessarily matters. You could do it on a new moon or a full moon as well, or just whenever you get time to do it. So you write down 13 wishes or goals that you have for the new year. And then you want to put those in your journal so that you have a copy of it. But then you're going to rewrite those goals and wishes onto tiny little strips of paper. And you're going to roll them up so you can't see them and place them in a bowl. And then each night you just pick a strip of paper from your bowl and you burn it. Don't look at it. Don't look at the whatever goal or wish it is that you're burning. Just release it into the universe. And you burn one wish a day. On the final day, you unwrap the last piece of paper from your bowl and read it. And this is the one that you need to work on. This is the one that requires your time and energy. So this is the goal or wish that you have to put the work into in order to see it fulfilled. However, you still have a list of your other goals and wishes that you kept in your journal. So don't forget to refer to that list for manifesting throughout the new year, because those you've already put out into the world by burning them and releasing them. But the one that remains, this is said to be the one that you most need to focus on now, and that requires your effort, your action, your input.
So it's basically a manifesting punch list that you're going to work through over the course of the coming year?
Yes and no. So you write down your 13 goals or wishes. You burn them. You burn 12 of them without ever looking at them. And then the 13th one is kind of the punch list. That's the one you need to focus on.
Okay. So if you accomplish that one, or if you feel like then you would go back to your list and pick another one, or not really?
No, that one is just up to the universe, those other 12.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea too. I think I'm going to try it.
I would have a hard time not peeking at the one I was burning.
I would too. But I'm left-handed, so my handwriting is atrocious. I probably wouldn't be able. I'll just write really, really tiny and I'll roll it up so it would be annoying for me to try to do that. So another one you can do, I had my book release party that my sister threw for me last month. And you know how uncomfortable I was with that and being the center of attention. That was very hard for me, but it went really well. But I said to her, I want to have activities so that it's not just all about, like me and my book. So I had little stations set up where people could pick a little good luck fortune. And another one was where they could make a wishing ball. And I really like this idea. If you guys wanted to try it for your holiday season, you can just get a plastic ornament from a craft store and use a funnel. You want to fill it with a little bit of salt to protect your wish, or you could add a little bit of sugar if you want to sweeten your wish. And then you want to choose a crystal that corresponds to your holiday wish. So, for example, rose quartz for love, green aventurine for luck, citrine for abundance and success, and a clear quartz for energy and to add some zing to your wish. And then you can add anything else in there that represents. So if you are trying to bring in more abundance, you could add a dash of cinnamon or a cinnamon stick, because that's fantastic for especially financial abundance. Anything you could use. Lavender, if your wish involves like peace and harmony, put a sprig of lavender in there. You just want to make it your own and put some thought and your own energy into it. And then you write down your holiday wish and you fold it towards you so that you're inviting that energy into your life, and you tuck it into your wishing ball, and then you can hang it on your tree or hang it in your kitchen window so that you can see it. Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to do with, especially with like family. If you have, especially if you have young kids or middle school or high school kids, I think it's great to get them to focus on what they're trying to invite into their life rather than just, oh yeah, semester ended and we start a new one in a couple of weeks. It's nice to kind
Mm-hmm.
of get them thinking forwardly.
Oh, that's nice. And
Yeah.
it's fun because it would be unique to the person.
Yeah, exactly. So what I did was I had like all the crystals out there, so you could set everything up so people could pick and choose
Yeah.
what they wanted to put into their wishing ball. Now, another one I saw that I really like is making a pine cone ornament. Pine cones have a really beautiful tradition, and like you were saying earlier, across many different cultures and beliefs, where they are all about protection, fertility, growth, and prosperity. Because if you think about a pine cone, how it's got the little spiny edges so it protects you, but it grows into this gorgeous, huge pine tree. So it's all about growth and prosperity and fertility as well. So in this exercise, you want to write down all of your goals for 2025 onto little individual pieces of paper, similar to our 12 magical nights exercise. And you put each one of these little tiny pieces of paper with your goal into a section of the pine cone. But here's the fun thing. You want to take a walk outside and find your pine cone. So go to a park, walk around your neighborhood, and collect a pine cone if you can. If you don't have pine cones where you live, go to any Home Depot, Lowe's, Michael's, because they sell those beautiful cinnamon scented ones. So you tuck each goal into a corner of the pine cone, and then you hang it on your tree, or again, you can hang it over a window. And then after the holidays, you hang it on a tree or a bush outside to release your wishes to the universe.
Okay.
Kind of like the Buddhists have the Tibetan prayer flags,
Mm-hmm.
where you can add your goals on there, which I think is a great idea.
Oh, it is. It is. And there you're right. There is a lot of lore around pine cones.
Yeah, which I think is so, so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I wrote down were just some little tips to help us get through. Sometimes, I love the holidays, but there's a lot of pressure on us during these holiday seasons of going and doing and buying and showing up. And I think for empaths, it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming. And I know for me, I'm sure you felt this way many years too, Denise. I feel like I am like the producer, the director of Christmas in my family. It's all on me. Do you ever feel that way? Like the decorations, the gifts, the cards, all that.
Yes.
And that can feel a little bit too much. So I just was trying to think of some tips that I need to be mindful of. And one of the ones is to set boundaries early and often. And I mean that with yourself. Like, be really honest. If someone has asked you to an event and you don't want to go, say no. Be honest with yourself and just say, I'm so sorry I can't go. And you don't need to have an explanation, but you want to actually look at yourself and think, what can I handle each week as we lead up to the holidays?
And I'd like to add to that, if there is something that you feel a familial obligation, or it's going, it's the right thing to do to go, maybe work in some time afterwards to take care of yourself, to have some quiet time, to have some time to recharge your battery.
Yes, that's a great point. Or try to schedule like a pop-in.
Mm-hmm.
I have a neighbor who has a holiday party every year and she always invites me. I don't know anybody else there. She never invites anyone else from the neighborhood. And I don't like stuff like that where I walk in, I don't know anyone. So this time I said, I have another party that night, but I'll pop in.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I think we should consider is to really contemplate our gift giving. Do you have to buy a gift for everyone this year? Could you instead put everyone's name in a basket and pick one? Or maybe the adults could commit to a charity or picking an ornament off of an angel tree for a family in need instead of just buying more stuff for each other.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. And especially there's a lot of people are trying to release, to relinquish, to really prioritize what they want in their lives, whether it's people or things or whatever. And it's the heart behind it. It truly is. And that's a hard one though, especially if there are expectations.
Very, very hard. Very hard. This is the first year I actually got my family to agree to putting everyone's name in a basket, which
Ooh, that's a biggie.
it's a biggie. Well, I mean, everyone's grown, so I don't want my sister to be like, what do your kids want this year? And how much nail polish can they have? You know what I mean? It's just
Mm-hmm.
silly. It's just silly. The other thing I wrote down was to create an emotional detox routine, which is kind of what you were talking about before. Because I think we can, as empaths, we can feel this emotional overload of having to, be there and be on and having fun. And there's also a lot of sadness around the holidays and the end of the year because we reflect on people we may have lost this year. And so you do want to establish a routine to help yourself emotionally detox, especially after large gatherings or stressful moments. And this could involve journaling or taking a walk in nature, practicing meditation. But by actually scheduling in time each week to just kind of tuck in and really focus on you, it's going to help you get through the holidays.
That's a really good point. And this is so counter to everything that you're saying. But for those, and I'm one of them, so there's nothing with this. You may not like the holidays. You may not like this time of year. And you just said it, it's something to get through. And please be gentle with yourself and realize that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really okay. But there's so much hype and pressure that you're supposed to enjoy something. It may be childhood stuff, it may be present stuff in your life, or you just might not like it. People feel ostracized sometimes with that kind of an outlook around the holidays.
Absolutely right. We put a lot of stress on ourselves at this time. And just a little word to any younger parents out there, anything you start for your kids when they're little, they expect year after year. You notice that? My kids texted me before they came home for Thanksgiving and they were like, when is Elmer our elf arriving from the North Pole? I was like, oh, for God's sakes. But you know what I got for them this year?
What?
Martha on the mantle.
What in God's name is Martha on the mantle?
It's a Christmas elf that is Martha Stewart. And
Oh my
she
God.
comes with a pie and a bottle of champagne. So we had a lot of fun moving Martha around over the Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, that's fun.
We love Martha in this house. Did you watch the documentary?
I haven't yet. No.
It was very eye-opening. Okay, another thing I wrote down is to create a holiday playlist because music is just one of the easiest ways to evoke a holiday spirit and set the mood. And, you might like the older holiday songs, you might prefer the newer ones. So create your own playlist and make it a point to just play it throughout your home if you like that kind of music. If not, create your own playlist of stuff that helps you just connect within and feel more upbeat. Music is a great way to help regulate our emotions.
Oh, it's a amazing healer. And the muscle memory. Don't you find it fascinating? And I've done, music therapy classes way back, again, working with the little tiny people and just the rhythm and how, think of jingles that you heard when you were a kid that you can still remember as soon
Yeah,
as you hear the opening line. So
yeah,
music is amazing.
it really is. Um, Also, I wrote down prioritize alone time because for a lot of people, the holidays are filled with social events, family gatherings, work parties. And as empaths, we tend to recharge our batteries alone. So whether it's just an hour in the morning with a cup of tea or an afternoon with a book you've been wanting to dive into, having some time alone really allows you to recharge. So make sure to honor your need for solitude and don't allow yourself to fall into that pressure of I have to go, go, go this whole holiday season. Something else I think is important is to try and surround yourself with positive people. You know, you and I were talking before we recorded that a lot of people feel as though they're a little negative, a little angsty right now. There's a lot of fear mongering. And so, you know, that's all fine and good. But I think as we get through this Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograde and all sorts of weird stuff going on in astrology, we need to just really focus on who uplifts us rather than who drains us.
I think that is exponentially important right now. And we do have control over our little circle.
Yes, we definitely do. My other tip for surviving the holidays, if you do have to go somewhere, drive yourself.
That's non-negotiable.
Right? I think that's really important. Well, I just like that idea because you still show up, you still have done your part. And you know what? I don't know if most empaths are like me. A lot of times I'll be like, oh, why did I say yes to this? And then I get there and I have the best time and I don't want to leave. Sometimes I get there and I don't have the best time. And so I like having my own car so I can decide.
Right.
And of course, I have to mention crystals. I think when we work with these beautiful energy tools, they help us to regulate and manage our energy. Amethyst, the all healer, is a great crystal to hold this month. Rose quartz for love, and especially self love. Black tourmaline or hematite for grounding and protection, or selenite for calling in the help of your angels and guides, are all very calming stones and also have protective qualities. So you can just keep a small stone in your pocket or wear as jewelry to just consciously remind yourself that you are shielding and protecting your energy.
Oh, I love that.
I also think it's important to limit your social media consumption this month. You don't have to know everything going on in the news. You don't have to keep up with Patty from high school. You can just kind of go on with your happy self. Because as an empath, sometimes we pick up on the emotions in other people's posts, whether it's happy, sad, or stressful. And so to protect your emotional health, it is a really good idea to limit your social media consumption. You can set specific times during the day or the week to check your accounts, and do not scroll mindlessly before bed because that can really overwhelm you and seep into your dreams and affect your sleep.
I really want to add this in. If this is your first holiday season without someone who is very dear in your life, do something to acknowledge that person, but take care of yourself. If you need to say no to things, if you need to just be left alone, or if you need to try to carry on traditions, please honor your grief and honor your loved ones in spirit.
It's a fantastic reminder. Yeah.
Because I think people don't realize, if you haven't had that experience of losing someone you love, those first seasons are really difficult. And please be gentle with yourself.
Yeah, the holidays and the end of the year are wonderful times, but they put a magnifying glass on everything: the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful.
I don't know about you, but I'm kind of done with 2024. I've had enough.
Okay, my last tip is to practice self-compassion.
Yes.
Again, kind of bringing us full circle to what we were talking about with the golden rule. We are, as empaths, we are highly self-aware, which means we can sometimes fall into perfectionism or feeling guilty for needing rest or time alone. And so it's really important to practice self-compassion and remind yourself that it's okay to take care of your emotional and physical needs. Be kind to yourself if you need a break or if you can't attend every holiday event. Your energy matters, and taking care of yourself is essential to being able to give to others.
If you have the resources or the ability and there's something that you really want, you can buy it for yourself. It's okay. There's no rule that says you can't, but it could be you don't have the resources or the opportunity for that, but you can still do something nice for yourself. You can still make yourself a special breakfast, or you can exactly what you were saying earlier, read the book or write yourself a letter about how what you'd like to invite into your life. But take some time to focus on you a little bit as well. It's important.
Yeah, you have to schedule it or it's never going to happen. You know,
Right.
my youngest has this adorable little thing she's done ever since she left for college. When she comes home to visit, she leaves me little notes around the house.
Oh.
I know it's cute. I'll find them like in the crisper in the fridge or under my pillow or in the laundry basket. And she texted me the other day and she was like, "Did you find all my notes this time?" And I said, "I found 3." And she goes, "I left 4." And I was like,
Oh.
"Uh-oh, I need to find this." So I've, kept an eye out, did not find it. And she texted me last night and she said, "Did you find it?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Mom, when's the last time you read for fun?"
Oh.
And I said, "I don't know." And she said, "I put it in the book you've been reading."
Oh my goodness.
I realized for 2 weeks, I have not read for fun. I've read for the show and guests coming on and research, but I have not read my book that I'm reading for fun.
Oh. She's
Yeah.
a smart girl. Oh my goodness.
I know. And I looked in it and I was like, oh no. And then I started reading the book and it just felt so good just to sit there and, I got my little holiday tea from Trader Joe's.
See, everyone, if you need any tips on how to do this, check in with Samantha. She's got it down, right down to the T.
Do you have any tips we should mention?
I think I have to go back to be gentle with yourself. Don't worry about not eating the right thing or eating too much of something, or I'm not saying overdo or over imbibe or do anything, but just don't hold such rigidity around your life during this time. Just be gentle. I
Yeah,
can't
well
say that
said.
enough.
Well said. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. And thank you, Denise, for your beautiful reminder of how we are all connected and we all just need to be kinder to ourselves and to everyone around us. Before we wrap up, I do have a creepy exercise I'm doing with my family after the holidays to prepare for the new year. And I don't want anyone to judge me. Denise, it's kind of weird, but I thought of this idea and I was like, I think we should try this. So every year on New Year's Eve, I make my kids and we sit around the table and we write down all the crap from 2024, whatever the year is. We write down all the nonsense that we didn't like, stuff that just did not work out for us. And then we do a bowl burning ceremony. Well, I thought of something different this year. And so I went on Amazon and I bought coffins, like craft coffins. And I thought we could write down like all the stuff that we just want, just bury it, just gone, just it's dead, it's gone, it's not a part of us anymore, and put it in these little coffins. And I thought we could like decorate them. And then we could go outside and we could dig a little hole and bury them. And I thought it would be like very symbolic, So I order these craft coffins. They come in the mail. Denise, they're kind of big. They're like 6 inches by 2 inches. I haven't shown them to my girls yet. Do you think that's weird?
I don't think that's weird. I think it's fun. And I think it's a little different. It's kind of like switching it up with Martha on the mantle. It's a new way of doing it.
That's true. Well,
And
I'm very confused about the burning because I was always taught that when you burn something, you're like, you're releasing it. But
yeah.
I've been reading all this stuff that burning stuff often releases it into the universe so that it can materialize for you. And I'm like, well, wait, I've been doing a bowl burning ceremony for years on New Year's Eve to release stuff I no longer want. And then we take the ashes and we'll either bury them or flush them down the toilet. But
Mhm.
now I was thinking, I don't know. So that's how I got the idea of just the coffins and just writing everything down, putting it in there and burying it.
Could you
What?
burn the coffins?
Well, I don't know. I mean, do you think burning like releases in terms of letting go, or do you think burning releases in terms of giving it off to the universe so it can
I
do
would
its
think
thing?
I think it would go with the intention.
Okay, I would too. You're right. I agree.
Oh, I was just thinking, isn't it nice to live where the ground isn't frozen and you can go dig a hole?
You got to come move south.
Oh, I like it up here most of the time. This time of the year, so I think that that's really cool, and I love, love, love that that's a tradition that you and the girls have kept all these years because it's a great way to release and then welcome in the new. Because don't you also do vision boards or books?
Yes. Yeah, so New Year's Eve during the day, sometimes dinner, depending if, some now that the girls are older, a lot of times they have New Year's Eve evening plans. But I
Mhm.
always do like a pretty fancy New Year's Eve dinner and then they can go and do their own thing. And so usually we'll do it then. And then the first week of the new year, either New Year's Day or that week, we'll work on our goal books or vision boards.
I was listening to something, it was more business focused, but the person was talking about, if you haven't met your revenue goals this year or you haven't made the benchmarks in your business that you really wanted to make, rather than trying to force yourself or beat yourself up, just say, okay, that was an off year in my business. And now what did I really like? What do I want to keep? And it's the same premise. So if someone is concerned about their finances or security or stability in this past year, look at what worked for you, look at what you enjoyed, and then say, where do I want to really focus in this coming year? And I do think that's exactly what you're saying, but you can apply it to relationships or personal growth or business endeavors. It's just a great time of the year to really refocus, release, and start looking forward.
Yes, exactly. And the more we can do things with that focused intent and really concentrate on what it is we want to let go of and what it is we want more of, the better able we're going to be at manifesting that and co-creating that.
Yeah. And this is just more of a PSA for people that might be having a difficult time. There's no shame in reaching out for help or guidance or support if you need it during this holiday season. Because if you are in a dark place, please know that there are people that love and care about you.
Yes, I agree 100%. And there's resources out there. We have on Facebook, we have a local community resource page. I think every city has that. And we've had a couple of people post, I'm a therapist, here's my credentials, and I'm offering free services to anyone who needs it over the holiday. Isn't that lovely?
I love that because that's the point. That goes back to what we started the show with is be kind, treat each other with respect and dignity, be kind to yourself. That truly is the reason for the season.
Yes, I agree.
I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season, however you choose to celebrate it or not celebrate it, but know that we appreciate you and we're so grateful that you're part of our community of listeners.
I love that. Happy holidays, everyone. Remember, as always, to show up, do great work, and share your light.
Take care.